feel like I'm in a family reunion center. Other than we don't share the same names, but it's kind of like having a big family, a bunch of brothers or sisters being in this audience, because we all share one thing in common, and that's just powerful, our very powerful, unwavering commitment to the defenseless in the society that we live in, the most vulnerable of our citizens. I'm looking at the people that I want to be in the vineyard with. I'm looking at the people that I want to be working with. We need to promote adult stem cell research over embryonic stem cell research in this state. We need to do more to promote adoption in the great state of Texas. All across Texas, there are prospective moms and dads who want nothing more than the love of a child that they can call their own. In short, we must leave no stone unturned in our efforts to protect those who cannot protect themselves. That includes electing officials who believe in the sanctity of life, not those who proudly wear the endorsement of Planned Parenthood. We will channel you information, we'll keep you informed about our efforts, we will guard the sanctity of life in this great state. In the coming months, I want you to remember Paul's words to the Galatians, to the church there. Chapter 6 of his letter. He said, "Let us not be weary in doing good. For the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." When it comes to protecting the unborn, God is truly on our side, and we will reap His harvest of blessings for our state if we persevere. God bless you, and through you may God continue to bless the great state of Texas. Thank you.
A number of years ago, the late President Ronald Reagan said, "Simple morality dictates that unless and until someone can prove that the unborn human is not alive," and we believe it is alive, "we must give it the benefit of the doubt and assume that it is, and thus it should be entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." The Texas Alliance for Life has been able to harness something I'm still learning, the power of mass media, online social media, to save lives. I've encouraged our senators to increase funding for adult stem cell research, taken from skin rather than from human embryos. Together, we can make Texas a shining example to the nation as the most pro-family, pro-life, pro-value state in this entire country.
We have seen excellent pro-life laws take effect in Texas, and Governor Perry and Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst mentioned those, but we had the Parental Notification Act, the Prenatal Protection Act, really a true personhood law, the Women's Right to Know Act, written, notarized parental consent for abortion, before abortion could be performed on a minor girl, funding for compassionate alternatives to abortion since 2005. We've blocked state funding for embryonic stem cell research and human cloning. Also, we've been funding life-saving adult stem cell research and treatment since 2007. We blocked state funding for abortion in the legislature and in the Texas Supreme Court. Millions of dollars for compassionate alternatives to abortion since 2005. And there are more examples, but these laws do have a wonderful effect. Here's an example. 10 years ago, the parental notification went into effect 10 years ago, in January 1, 2000, requiring the physician to notify a parent before performing abortion on that minor girl. Soon after, abortions on minor girls in Texas plummeted by 32%. In the last 10 years, there have been 15,000 fewer abortions performed on little girls. 15,000 tragedies. As Governor Perry and Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst said, life-saving adult, not embryonic stem cell research treatments in Texas to treat diseases including heart disease, cancer, sickle cell anemia, severe orthopedic injuries. These are photos of Texans who have been successfully treated in Texas using adult stem cells. We need to pass the sonogram bill so that women can see their little future Longhorn or Aggie. Those are real pictures. Valerie, our communications director, did not doctor those. Those are real babies. So women can see those pictures and hear that heartbeat before they decide whether to have an abortion.
Economist, it's sort of the British version of Time. And several months ago, they had a cover story. It said, California or Texas? Two visions of America's future. Well, you know, boy, that's really hard, isn't it? California or Texas? I think we're going to find in November that more and more Americans like the future that Texas provides rather than the future that California provides. Jeremiah, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you, he says. And while you were in your mother's womb, I sanctified you and made you a prophet to the nations. David solved the question that is indeed above President Obama's pay grade and everyone else's. When does life begin? Psalm 51, he says, in Psalms 51, he says that at the moment of his conception, he had a sin nature. Only a human being with a soul and a spirit can have a sin nature. David went on under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit to write that God literally knitted him and embroidered him together in his mother's womb. And all of his parts were written in God's book before any of them came to be. Whenever conception takes place, God's involved. And God has a plan and a purpose for every human life. God never created a nobody. Everybody is a somebody to God.